Okay, welcome back. We had some technical difficulties, so we'll continue on with meet the candidates tonight here at the Gates Child High School District. And we'll start, let me repeat the question, because we have a little break there. Okay. What strengths would you bring to the Board of Education, and how can those strengths help support the district goals? Carrie, please.
Thank you. Take two of them. I said my strengths were, first off, I'm not a teacher. I did recognize that all of our candidates that are currently going to the board, other than myself, have education experience, and I bring a different mindset in that way. I'm very active in the schools, volunteer in the buildings, for the marching band, for the show choir, for the musical, backstage, showing up at the Apple Dumpling Festival to sell concessions there, or even just participating in events. The sock hop at Walt Disney when my oldest was there. Just at when I'm in the buildings, people know my face, but it's not because I'm on the board, it's because I'm in the buildings and I'm active with my kids' participation in school. We have deep roots in this community. I've lived in Gates Child area my entire life, Gates Child alumni, volunteered for various organizations in our community. And one of the strengths that I've developed since being on the board is the seek to understand. Said earlier, we had lots of great conversations among board members. Some of those have been really powerful and really had a lot of impact on me. And seeking to understand things that I don't understand very well, like our budget process is a complex process. And anybody that thinks they're going to walk in and understand that right from the get-go, it's just not the way it works. And we have Dr. Ball that does a great job at breaking that down for us and helping us have a better grasp of it each year. Sure, he feels like he's starting over with us every year from scratch, but it allows us to go back to the community to say, this is what the budget is, and this is how we get there.
Thank you. Alicia?
Okay, one of my strengths is I'm a good listener. I'm able to listen to propositions and decide what needs to be discussed right away, what needs to be put aside for now, because it's less important, without saying that. I think being part of that, I can also have leadership skills. I'm able to accomplish tasks in a timely manner, and I can decide what's more important, what's less important. I've worked in a variety of situations, and I've listened to the top in almost all of them. I started as a volunteer. I ended up having a paid position. I love working with people, and I love working with kids.
Thank you. Andrew?
So for Board of Education goals, the first one was improved communications within the district and community. And the second one was that we will enhance student learning, continue to effectively oversee the fiscal health of the district, and to seek community input via the 21-22 Budget Ambassadors Program. So for our first goal, we have hired the full-time helper, Eva Petrosina, Director of Communications, who has been key to stepping up our communications. When you hire and you have excellent people working for you in the district, great things happen. So as a public high school mathematics teacher for over 32 years, I feel like I can bring to the table a different perspective. And I know for the past 6 years that I've been on the board that my fellow board members have appreciated the fact that they would know what it looks like from a teacher's point of view. So just appreciating the fact that that second goal leads right into enhancing student learning. So I know what it's like to be a teacher. I've been doing it my whole life. I know that the students, especially now through the pandemic, have been going through such a variety of things, and we need to be able to support them. And I will do that in any way, shape, and form that I can.
Thank you. Question 5. In this time of fiscal and pandemic-related challenges, school board members need to find ways to prioritize how to allocate the district resources. How would you prioritize the different kinds of programs and services the school district offers? Please.
Okay.
Unfortunately, during a time of fiscal challenge, something in the budget will have to suffer. So I think it's important for everyone and the Board of Education to remember why we are all here today. It is for the students. So what generally makes our students want to come to school? So I would look closer at what is drawing them to school. Is it a specific sport that most students are actively involved in and students are staying pre-pandemic to watch that sport? Is it the dual enrollment or AP courses offered because they want to get ahead for college? And Andrea, I am amazed by the story about your daughter, so thank you. I personally took advantage of dual enrollment growing up in Niagara Falls, and I recognize how important that is when I went to college and had to pay for it. Is it the jazz band? Is it marching band? Is it theater? What is drawing our students to want to come to school outside of their core academics and come to school and be engaged? So academics are a priority, and I recognize and support that countless hours that the teachers and staff within the district put in for our students. Through the decision-making process, it's important to spend money on what will keep our students engaged and in school. Thank you.
Thank you. Gary?
Thank you. So I think the answer that all of us are going to say is obviously any cuts that come to the school need to be kept as far away from students as possible. Student programming should be our #1 priority. That being said, I think this is a tough question because as a board, I think people think that we sit as a board and come up with line-by-line budget items, and that's not really how the board is involved in the budget. We are looking at the budget from a higher level. So Chris and his team go and break down each building, each level, and ask them to tighten their belts where they can. And they come to us with the budget that they need to operate the following year. And it's up to us at that point to voice our opinions to say, well, I'm a little bit concerned that we may need more in X, Y, and Z, but we are not a line-by-line approval of the budget. We're just looking at the budget as an overall. We can impact that by hiring a superintendent that is steering in the direction that we want the district to go. And by him doing that, he put people in place in his cabinet that also have the same values and goals as we do. And so I think that is all an impact on the budget, but I just want to make clear that our job as a board is not the individual programs of the district. And I learned that from getting into the reason I got involved in the board, and I think a lot of us do, is we feel like a call to action when something impacts our students' lives or our pocketbooks. And myself and Andy came on the board when there was talk about cutting the programs in the Latin and Italian programs. And that spurred me to become active in the district and become active on the school board. So that is a tough question. And there is a big portion of the budget that's just a fixed cost. Our benefits and salaries are contract negotiations. Those are not going to change. So just trying to be creative in ways to come up with spending and savings.
Thank you. Alicia?
I think one of the things you have to look at is prioritizing education to the point of make it interesting. I hear from my grandchildren, Grandma, I'm never going to use this math. Why am I learning it? Well, it's an experience that you'll learn, and that experience you take with you to a job somewhere, and you might not think, oh, I'm not going to use this, but if you learn it, then you have that experience, and you've already learned something. So don't think that it's a class you're not going to use, because it will be. I think Remogo is a great asset. Kids get a break. They get to go and do something with their hands. They can feel proud of it when they're done, and they have an accomplishment that nobody else has. I think that's a good thing. When I was in school, we had a course called PAD, which was Problems in American Democracy. They took us downtown. They had us work at one of the churches. I don't know how that would work in today's society because I would be afraid to go downtown with kids. But I think they need to know that there are problems that they might be able to work on. And I think you need to let them guide you in what they need to know. Let them talk about things even though it might not be exactly what you're talking about that day. but let them lead some of the discussions.
Thank you. Andrew?
Improving learning and teaching is always a number one priority. We can do this by research-based and best practices strategies that in many cases don't require more money. We should continue to use the people we have within our district, our teacher leaders, our curriculum leaders, and teacher mentors. In other cases where more money will help if it's spent strategically, I would listen to our experts and believe and support them. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, question 6. The district has created a strategic plan for equity. Please tell us if you support this effort, and if so, how you see your role as a board member fitting into this plan. Nicole, please?
So as a candidate, I strongly support equity in education and the strategic plan. I look forward to learning more about the work that is in place and the work ahead in each of the 5 areas. As a board member, it would be important for me to continue to ask questions and receive updates on what is happening within each of the 5 areas, including any data to support this work. I'm interested in hearing and learning about each of the areas. However, the teaching and learning portion, creating a culturally responsive curriculum is very interesting to me. Through my experience, I'm aware that there's a culturally responsive and sustaining education framework that was submitted by state education. I think based on this framework and the strategic plan that the district has begun, I'm interested to see the type of coursework that is created to support all of our students and the different demographics within our district. Every district should have a high expectation and deliver rigorous instruction for all students, regardless of race, gender, sexual orientation, language, ability, or their economic background. As a parent and having mutual respect for all the members of my community, we all care and want what's best for our child. And as a member of the Board of Education, I would always have the best interest of your child and support the right courses. I believe that the work the district is doing is leading the way for other districts within the area, and I appreciate the Kate's Childlike passions and work around this topic, and I just want to thank everyone that's been part of this strategic plan because I truly appreciate it, and thank you.
Thank you. Karen?
Thank you. I want to start by saying that I am so proud of this district taking this step. I had the opportunity to be one of 3 board members along with Andrea to participate in the root cause committee, which went on for just about a year and was slightly interrupted by the pandemic. This has been an ongoing, it's not a new conversation. When I first joined the board, I really credit some of our former board members for really bringing this to light and having this ongoing conversation at a board level. And I'll be honest, it's probably the biggest area of growth for me, something that I never really realized and thought about previously. So bringing it to my attention is really gives me the opportunity to really embrace this idea and the future steps of the district. We've done a book study as a board, reading down this path, and it's helping us understand more about how this impacts us and our families. I'm proud to stand with our superintendent in his addresses he does to the district that talk about moving forward with equity. And I know sometimes that we get some pushback from that, and it can be scary to people facing that for the first time. But I think it's a positive direction.
Thank you. Alicia?
This is one of the most diversified school districts around. We have 3,700 students of various backgrounds, and you have to get an equality in education. Basically, it's letting kids know that they're accepted and they are going to succeed, and we are going to help them do that. I think we should try to increase the variety of teaching staff that we have, so a kid is looking at someone who looks like them. And I think the equality team is a good idea. I think that's wonderful. If they can look at that and see what happens and figure out what we have to do.
Thank you. Andrew?
I definitely support this effort, and I've been a member of the equity team since its inception, as Kira mentioned. I would very much like to continue that work. This is quoted from our website. Gates Tri Central School District is home to more than 3,700 students with unique cultural identities representing many races, religions, languages, and more. Despite Gates Tri's reputation as one of the most diverse districts in Illinois County, state data showed troubling disparities in student success across the various subsets of the student population. So this is what prompted, it said about 50 members of the school community, including faculty, staff, administrators, parents, and Board of Education members to come together. So that was last year to form the root cause team. So we worked with the New York University Metropolitan Center for Research on Equity and the transformation of schools to analyze district data and find the root cause of inequity. So this is one of the main reasons I would say that I want to continue to be on the board. As I said, I am going to be retiring from teaching at the end of this school year, and my whole goal is to volunteer and help do whatever I can to make this district the best district possible.
Thank you. And our last question, number 7. Do you support this year's budget? Why or why not?
Well, first I want to say thank you to Dr. Ball, because I was also watching your videos. I appreciate the breakdown. It's the job of the school board member to support student learning, adopt and oversee a school budget, set the vision and goals of the district, adopt policies, and provide the district with direction. As a parent and community member, I support this year's school budget. It's important to invest in our buildings, technology, and the learning of our students to continue to be a competitive district where families want to live. Proposition 4 is especially important as we continue to work through our new normal of virtual learning. During the pandemic, staff have been creative with their learning virtually. It's important to provide ongoing professional development for the teaching staff to help that learning become engaging. Although we hope that the pandemic will come to an end and we don't have to wear these masks and do all of those pieces, I do feel that there will still be a piece of virtual learning that may benefit some of our student bodies, and it's important to continue to enhance that type of learning. Thank you.
Thank you, Carrie.
Short answer to that is yes, I support the budget. Being part of the board and being on the finance committee and audit committee and breaking down the budget and the process and how they got to the budget that they came up with is an important step. Knowing that there's not wasteful spending in this budget, it's directed to where it needs to go. I look forward to, if it's not this year, in future years, we try looking at electric buses. I think that's an important step for future of our community and responsibility for our environment. And I really appreciate that that is something that's being looked into this year.
Thank you. Alicia?
I looked at the budget and I can totally support it because the main part is 75% of the budget goes to the kids where we need it. 10% goes to the administration, which is fine. This is a step in the right direction, and I would hope that in future budgets, this is how it breaks down. We need to support our kids in everything we do. So that's all I have to say.
Thank you. Andrea?
So I definitely do support the budget. One of our goals was better communication. So our superintendent felt that we needed a group of people from our community, budget ambassadors, who were given a chance to see how our budget was constructed from the bottom up and be able to ask questions and really get a feel for the work of building a budget. They could let the people in our community then know what they've learned. A more informed voter is what will help pass our budget. I was able to sit in on one of these sessions. It was very helpful. Dr. Bell and our team have worked hard to present a budget that is fiscally responsible. And as I said earlier, if you haven't had the opportunity to check out Dr. Bell's video series, please take the time to do so. Thank you.
Thank you all. Okay, we've come to the end of the question and answer portion of the program. Each candidate will now be able to make a closing statement of not more than 3 minutes. Those summations will be made in reverse order from the opening statement. So Mrs. Hinchey Hudson will give her closing statement first. Andrea?
Thank you. I just want to say that I've spent 6 years on the board and I've really enjoyed the time that I've been here, building relationships with the other board members, learning more about the whole ins and outs of how you run a school district. I'm putting the time in because I want to put the time in, not because I need to put the time in. Again, as going off to volunteer, being retired, I'm just looking for wonderful opportunities where I can help in whatever way I can help. And if you feel that I will be a help to this school district as a member of the board to continue, please vote for me. Thank you.
Thank you. Alicia?
This would be a new experience for me, being on the Board of Education. I've done other things, and I would proudly serve as a board member. This would be my first time, but I would hope you could consider voting me into the board. I will work very hard with the other board members to get everything done that needs to be done, and I would be proud to serve.
Thank you. Victoria?
Thank you. I would be proud to serve another term. I truly enjoyed my time on this board. I talk about our board and how well we work together. And that's because we truly like each other and we do respect each other. And we do not come from the same background. We don't always have the same opinions, but you'll often find us after the meeting chatting with each other about our lives and finding out how each other's families are doing because we do care about each other. But within that, because we have a good relationship, I don't feel like I'm not able to voice my opinion. And whether it's at a board meeting or whether it's a phone call to Jeff in the evening, asking him to clarify something, or to Chris asking for some more information on something that I don't understand or that I'm curious about how something happens. And I do feel like we have a district that allows that to happen. That being said, we have 4 outstanding candidates sitting here. I don't think there's a lot of things here. I think we have really strong candidates. It's nice to see that many candidates that are strong for a district in all women coming out in a year. So I don't think you can make a bad choice. I hope that you choose me. But there's not a bad choice here. Thank you.
Thank you. Nicole?
First, I would like to thank you, Dennis, for moderating and all of the persons that put the time in for the event. I appreciate the opportunity to sit here this evening. I also appreciate everything that the candidates shared and sitting here with me as well. And great that all women are here, so thank you. Thank you for highlighting that too. So as a candidate for the Board of Education, I am passionate and support the academic excellence for all learners in leading students where they are and to provide them with the necessary tools to grow. I will work hard with intention to bring about impact and to expand equitable learning opportunities for the students. I will maintain and improve upon community trust with all stakeholders. Our community trusts us with our taxpayer resources, and I will make fiscally responsible decisions in the best interest of our student population. So thank you for your time, and don't forget to vote on May 18th.
Thank you. That's it for our presentation. A reminder that the budget vote and school board election is Tuesday, May 18th at the Gates Child Administration Building, 3 Spartan Way. For more information, go to gateschili.org/vote. Thank you and have a great night. Thank you.